So, I have been living my life on the dictates of morality, responsibility, treating people the way I want to be treated, and earning and dishing out respect when deserved and earned. Well, the next step was introspection, and introspection into myself to slay the demons that I've had, and I've done a very good job of that. I've done it to the point where people around me have seen a shift in me, and I myself have seen close to perfection. My demons are slayed, and the next step with that was finding a place where this close to perfection is going to be best handled. And that I thought was religion, because religion is on the foundation, it's based on the foundation of morality. So I talked to one of my friends, got in touch with a church, and immediately went to that church. And it was pretty decent in the beginning. It really was. I was surrounded by like-minded individuals. People were cool. But then I really started looking around. I started digesting, and I started using the mind that I have, that is thinking outside of the box, outside of the box, outside of that box, that's outside of that box, that's outside of that box. Basically going as deep into the rabbit hole as you can get into concepts that you deem important, concepts that are at the forefront of your reality at this given time. And the question I had was, let's say you're a sinner, you go to church, you give yourself to the Lord, you get baptized, and you make that promise to no longer sin again. Now you may slip up every time and time again. That's okay. You are inadequate innately as a human, and the rest of your life you're good. Okay, you try not to sin, and you're good. Then there's the people that sin, or that are sinners. They go to church, they give themselves to the Lord, they get baptized, and then for the 3 hours every Sunday morning, they're the people they want to be. But when they leave, they go back to sinning. Okay, they go back to smoking. They go back to drinking themselves away. They go back to doing drugs. They go back to their gluttonous behavior and consuming large amounts of food, and creating this rather gargantuan mass that is their frame. And they lose themselves, and they stray away from something that they said that they were going to do. And this goes down to one of my major flaws, is Christians are inadequate. They are. A lot of them are. 95% to more of them are inadequate because they cannot adhere to basic principles of betterment. Basic principles, okay? If you want to be a better person, if you really look at yourself in the mirror and you're not happy, going to church and then looking at the script and then people there as crutches is not going to help you. I don't know if any of you guys have ever looked into psychology, but psychology even states that the only person that's going to help you is you. You can't fix people. We as humans, our nature, our evolutionary biology, and our nature in general does not allow us to really listen to what people have to say until it's too late. Okay? Until those ventricles close, until your lungs collapse, until you until you go insane from doing drugs. Okay, the list goes on and on until you get kidney failure. Okay, until there's literally death knocking at the door. That's when these harsh realities really hit for people, and that's when they start to make a change. It's not when they know that change needs to happen. Like, people know smoking isn't good, people know drinking isn't good, people know doing drugs isn't good, people know eating exuberant amounts of sugar, carbs, and other just food in general is not good for them. They know fat isn't good for them, they know being large isn't good for them, but they still do it. And then they want to complain and point fingers. You're inadequate. And unfortunately, the church is a halfway house for people that are inadequate but don't have the mental fortitude or ability to look at themselves in the mirror and actually seriously tell themselves that I need to change, and I'm going to start now, and I'm not going to make any excuses. That's my first issue. The second issue is, I asked, based on that question, the statement I posed earlier, sinners, and then people that sin outside of the church, and then people that give themselves to God and don't sin. How is it that it doesn't matter? It doesn't matter. I said, where's the separation? Where's the separation for these people that don't sin and the people that do sin, but they're still under God? Well, there is no separation, because Jesus died on the cross for your sins, and that means he knows you're inadequate, and that means as long as you adhere yourself to God and do your best under God and go to church and try to be a good person to the best of your ability, that you are allowed to go to heaven. That's kind of messed up, isn't it? Because, if you can just give a half-ass effort at something like that, that's supposed to be as important as your eternal salvation. That doesn't really, then why would anyone want to adhere to that? That sounds like kind of a joke, doesn't it? Has me laughing, has me looking at it as a freaking clown show, huh? Bunch of clowns going up there that don't deserve salvation, in my opinion. If the Bible states so rigorously that sin is immoral and morality is at the utmost of everything that you do and should be, the pinnacle. But I guess sin is just, whatever, sin, just let it happen, because people, we just got to do it anyways. We're just humans. He understands that we're a moral filth, and then and then I said, okay, so if you can just sin and all that stuff doesn't really matter, what does matter? Well, I was told what matters is as long as you have faith in God, okay? And what that means is you have faith in God's hand in your life for the future. Well, the people that know me know I've had a pretty shit ass life, okay? It's not even that isn't even a good enough word to use. I mean, there's not even a good combination of words. There's not even a good combination of sentences in a paragraph that can describe how shitty my life has been. So, when you look back at my life and you try to pick apart these little tiny snippets of, good, and then try to say that that was God after all this suffering for that little tiny good to happen, and then to say that I should have faith in the future that my life is going to get better. I mean, you got to be on crack. I mean, you guys all got to be smoking something insane, and I want to know what you're smoking because I love it. Whatever I've been smoking isn't enough, I guess. It can't get me to think in this kind of reality, but yeah. Uh, on that principle alone, a lot of people won't be going to heaven anyways, because most people don't actually have faith in the future, because what that means is things have to be positive. You have to constantly look and have a positive look at the future. And most people don't have that. I mean, you can just tell by asking people. And it's like, what do you think is going to happen a week from now? I'm like, I don't even have my bills paid, blah, blah, blah. See, because you don't have your trust in God, so you're not going to heaven, I guess, on that aspect anyways, because you don't have faith. So, yeah, these are some harsh realities that people don't want to hear. But I don't care. I haven't cared my whole life. And my whole life, a lot of the reasons that this bad stuff has happened to me is because I chase the truth. And it's because my mind works on, how deep does a rabbit hole go? I want to know how deep information is. I want to know the inner workings of reality. While other people are content, I'm never content. I'm never content. When I get a jacket, I look at it, I see I look at the design of it, I look at where it's made from, I look at the price, I look at the fabric. Things that most people don't even care. It's like, oh, it's a jacket, here's the brand, cool. That's it. Yeah, see, it's very narrow-minded, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way I think, and since I don't think on a narrow mindset, and quite honestly, my IQ and intellectual prowess is just way higher than anything that the majority can even comprehend. Christianity can't be for me, because you have to have a narrow mindset to possibly adhere to these principles, and there's nothing wrong with that. Have a great. I mean, enjoy being inadequate. Enjoy being inadequate. I mean, enjoy looking around and seeing, fellow fatties. Enjoy looking around and seeing, alcoholics. Enjoy looking around and seeing drug addicts. Enjoy looking around and seeing, people that just don't care about their health, about their body, about their mind, about the people around them, about their future, about anything. Because, I mean, that is what Christianity is. It's a halfway house for people that are too inadequate to fix themselves. And based on these realities, based on these truths, I can't adhere myself to that, because though I have humbled myself, it is impossible to do as much self-improvement as I have, as much self-introspection as I have, and to basically do away with all the bad shit I was doing, physically, mentally, and emotionally, and say I'm not better than people. Okay, to not look at myself and to not have the majority of the world look at me as better, because when people talk to me, they get self-conscious, okay? They get mad, and that's why I don't have a lot of friends. That's why I've been pushed away by family. That's why there's been a lot of issues, is because When people get in a real conversation with me, when people really look at my lifestyle, when people really see the way I carry myself and the way I want other people to be around me, they feel inadequate and they can't handle it. And, I'm just not meant for this world. And that's fine because, death is always looming and death is always welcome. Death is something I very much look forward to. And a lot of the people in my shoes are right on board with me. They realize how meaningless, how worthless, and how pointless this life is, and how really there is nothing much better. You guys can hope for something better, but this is what you guys do. You guys hope for something better in another reality that isn't this one, and you guys completely discredit this reality. If you guys are not willing to make sure that you can do the best with what you have in this reality, you don't deserve a better reality. I don't care what you think. If you guys want to be fat, if you guys want to, do drugs, drink alcohol, and just completely make sure that you look like an absolute ass, okay, and you look like just an absolute inadequate piece of crap, go ahead. But there are people that notice, and there are people like myself that do know that they're better than you, and they do separate themselves from you, and they also don't believe in the fairy tale lie. And even if I did believe in that fairy tale lie, I would be going to heaven, and you guys wouldn't. Because God doesn't want inadequate people. Do you think God created all of us because he wanted he just wanted anyone to go up to heaven? You think he created this ivory palace that is heaven for just anyone? Oh man, dude, that is probably the biggest lie that you all believe, is that God just wants inadequate individuals. He doesn't. He wants the best of the best. So even though I can't really much attach myself to heaven, I do believe there is a God. Maybe not this God, maybe not the God that, that Christianity speaks of. I do believe there is a God, just because, there's to really go into the inner workings of everything in this world. We just don't have the knowledge for it. We're not omnipotent, and we can't really understand it. And really, it's just so insane if you really start looking into this stuff, that it's really the only explanation I have at the moment, until I can do enough research on the subjects at hand throughout my lifetime. But again, until next time, if I'm still alive, I will most certainly be making more videos. But again, I'm going to be taking things as they come, good or bad. And yeah, I hope this really broke it down for you guys. And I hope it really made you guys take a good look at yourselves. Because while I've done the work, I'm wondering if you guys are willing to do the work to make sure that this reality is the best it can be for each and one of you. Because that's all I want for people, is for them to be their best. I don't talk about these inadequacies because I am prejudiced, or I am, spiteful or hateful of them. I talk about them because they can be changed, but they can be changed by you. I can't change them. I can point them out, and though I'll be crucified for these things, and though people hate me, and though I've had guns pointed at me, I've had knives thrown on me, I've been threatened of being thrown out of vehicles, I've almost had the shit beat out of me numerous times for saying these things, not because I come off in any attitude, but because people get offended because they are inadequate. So change these inadequacies and don't get offended. Goodbye.